What's up, guys? Tarik again. I'm a volunteer here at MiniWarGaming, and I have with me Quirk from MiniWarGaming. How you doing, Quirk?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I missed you so much.
I missed you too.
We play and call it work.
We played last night some Total War Warhammer 2.
Oh, did we bond?
We played a head-to-head campaign. I played as a Skaven, and Quirk here played as the High Elves. Now, I had wanted to do a co-op campaign because I am scared, and I like to have friends, or pretend that I do. But unfortunately, we had some issues. You want to talk about that?
Sure, absolutely. So what we were trying to do at the beginning was to see what we could do campaign-wise. We wanted to kind of test limits and see what was intended in Total War 2 for a campaign that would be cooperative. So when Tar tried setting it up and when I tried setting it up, we found that whoever was hosting the party picked the army, picked the leader, and you just kind of went from there. Whoever was joined with you was kind of like an extra almost. You didn't get to pick a different army, you didn't get to pick a different leader, you didn't really get to pick anything. You just got to be part of that clan. Yeah. And the only things that really let you do was kind of cooperate a little bit on the decisions that you could make and participate a little bit in the battles, but otherwise the co-op campaign was, it made it feel like you were just kind of backpacking on a single player.
Yeah, campaign. You were kind of just like, again, you were always dependent on the host. Now, we're not sure whether or not this was just a pre-release thing or if it's something that will come out in the final release. So we don't know whether or not this is just something that they haven't been able to put in just yet, and whether or not, you know, upon release, these things will be put in. You'll be able to choose your factions just like you can in Total War Warhammer 1. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what's going to happen with the co-op. No. Head-to-head is different, and we tried out head-to-head.
Yeah, we did.
When we chose our factions, and with head-to-head, you're able to choose each faction. This time, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, so you're able to choose your faction, you're able to choose your leaders, you are put somewhere on the map. Now, normally when you're picking this, you can actually see where all the players are going to end up on the map, so you have some relative idea of where they're going to participate. New additions that they brought into head-to-head that I absolutely love is that you are no longer just sitting there waiting for the other person to finish their turn.
To a certain extent.
To a certain extent. A couple things you can do while you're playing, obviously, you can play the regular game. You can kind of do everything the way you normally would. But as soon as you hit that end turn button, you got to wait for all the computers to start going, and then it will hit one of the players. Once it hits one of the players, it actually doesn't keep that screen frozen for you. It gives you the ability to explore your map, to see your options, to check out different things, to check your experience levels, to pre-manipulate things for the start of your turn, which is actually quite nice. And the icing on the cake here is if at any point in time your opponent decides to jump into a battle, you can pick one of two options. You can spectate, or you can play as the enemy. So now you're no longer stuck sitting there for 25 to 30 minutes while your opponent's getting ambushed, spectating and watching. You actually get to do the ambush. You get to be the enemy participating in it, which plays out a little bit differently. Obviously, for those of you who are veteran Total War players, you know that even if the scale is completely tipped against you, you have a 25% success rate, you can still game that AI and pull out a victory no matter what, just because you know what the computer's going to do. Fast cav always charge first, archers are always behind the spearmen, everything like that. You can predict it, you can accommodate your army to deal with the AI. Problem is, when you're playing against an actual person, they don't play like an AI. They make mistakes, they adapt a little bit differently, and they deploy in a non-logical manner. So suddenly that 25% success rate that you're like, oh, against an AI, I got this, no problem, it's going to be easy, suddenly is not that easy. So love that function.
Now with head-to-head, this is the same thing that happened in the previous Total War titles. In head-to-head, you could always use your armies, of course, or use the opposing player's armies. And with, of course, with co-op, the only other way you could play in the battles is if your friend would gift you any other units that you would like. You know, but he'd have to physically give you. This time, you can play. And again, this is head-to-head, so you could play as the opposing AI battle army and be able to go against your friend. Now, one of the issues that I felt, and I don't know if you felt the same way, was...
Is this just because you're bad at diplomacy?
No, listen. No. It's not about that, all right? Listen, I'm Skaven, okay? You can't do that, all right?
Quick timeout for a second. This is me pretending to be Tarik playing the game. I want to make a friend. Click. Oh, now I'm at war. Maybe this guy's my friend. Oh, now everyone's at war with me. What did I do?
Stop, man, stop. You're embarrassing me, Quirk. Yeah, but one of the issues that I felt was in the campaign map, you still can't build buildings. So you can still preset your armies. You can tell them, okay, next turn you're gonna go this way, you're gonna do this, but you can't build buildings. In Shogun 2 you could. I remember when I would do co-op campaigns with friends of mine, you were able to manage your economy, build any buildings, destroy any buildings. You could do a little bit more than you can here. So it's the same thing with Total War Warhammer 1, Total War Warhammer 2. You can't really manage your buildings as much. And again, you're kind of sitting there. You can tell after you've told your armies where to go, what you want them to do, that sort of thing. You still can't recruit any units while you're waiting. And you can't build buildings like I said. And so it's kind of like you're just waiting. That's one of the issues that I felt with the campaign map, the campaign part, the head-to-head, the battle aspect of the game. It's still fun. And again, like I mentioned in the previous video, I'm the type of person who likes to zoom in on the battles, and so for me, even if I'm just spectating, it's a chance for me to kind of zoom in and look at the cinematic effects, the explosions, and we're gonna put up a clip right over here of Quirk's siege battle going up against some dark elves. Beautiful, beautifully done, and it was just amazing to kind of pan through, like on the ground, while Quirk's siege towers are coming in from the side. The defense towers are firing. Quirk's archers are firing. There's just arcs of fire going this way and that way, crisscrossing across the stormy sky. It was awesome stuff to see. But again, but that's the battles. Those are exciting. Those are fun. When it comes to the campaign part, unfortunately, I feel like there was a little bit of a missed opportunity because I know they can do it in the other games.
Yep.
But for some reason, with Total War Warhammer 1, and it seems like Total War Warhammer 2, it's being marketed as a new game.
Yeah.
So
it does have its moments where it does feel like a new game. I am finding that when you're competing in the battles and you're fighting other armies, the armies and the formations and everything like that seems to be quite a bit more responsive than it was in Total War Warhammer. I'm finding that your recruits and everything like that actually give you a little bit more information as to what's going on. No longer do you have to go fly over the banner to see what state they're in. It actually will show you in the bottom screen all the details you need to know. Unit selection is a lot cleaner. You're able to issue orders and actually movement paths a lot nicer than you were in Total War Warhammer 1.
Notifications are more. So for example, if one of your units rally in Total War Warhammer 1, you wouldn't know until you looked at your unit cards and saw, oh, this guy's not running away anymore. This time you can see the horn like
you'll see
on
in
the
the
side
top
of the
left,
screen.
top right hand corner, it'll pop up with a little horn saying your unit has rallied, and you can click that and it will actually draw your attention to that unit, so you can immediately get them back into the fight or do whatever you want to do with that unit, whether or not you think they're able to continue fighting or not, because that ambush is just wrecking your day.
Listen.
Stop, buddy.
So, I do find that the actual battles that you're able to play out quite a bit nicer. It's nice to see no longer a static animation throughout the entire unit. It's nice to see everybody moving independently. When you actually see battles collide, two forces collide with one another, it's no longer the guy in the back is going to be swinging at air. He's actually trying to work his way through the crowd to get close enough to another sprite so that they can both swing at each other and do that animation. And no longer are you seeing the same animation throughout the entire army. It does look like a battle no matter whether you're zoomed all the way in or all the way out. Everything is animated. Everything is happening in its own time frame. It looks phenomenal. I absolutely love the fight style. The cinematics are great. The special effects when you're casting spells, seeing artillery, whatever.
Fireballs.
Fireballs are fantastic. I don't know what was hitting Tarik, but there was like this cone of pestilence.
Oh yeah, the warfire guide.
Those were fantastic.
Oh no, that was brutal.
I almost felt like I could zoom in and see the burnt grass. Like, oh, it was so nice. So definitely liking how they've upped the ante a little bit on the animation and got everything looking a lot smoother. and I very much like the battle sequence to that. Again, the campaign map for me a little bit, it feels like you're piggybacking. I'm not sure how I feel about the campaign map as a whole because of it, but I do think it'd be really neat if you're able to, as a campaign, somebody was nice enough to gift you something, you're both able to independently work a number of units in a campaign battle.
I
That'd
guess
be sweet.
part of that depends on who you're playing with.
Yeah.
So, like, if the other person is going to gift you units, then you're more involved in the battle aspect. If not, again, with the co-op part. But if not, then you might have a little bit of waiting to do before you can take your turn. Now, we were talking about the campaign map. I want to ask you your prediction, because they're going to fuse, or they intend to fuse, the Total War Warhammer 1 map and the Total War Warhammer 2 map together.
Okay.
Assuming that, and I'm not sure if they're going to have co-op campaign or head-to-head campaign or battles and when they fuse the two maps. Assuming they do, how do you think it's going to affect the co-op or head-to-head gameplay?
Co-op and head-to-head are going to be, it's going to be interesting because you're going to be basically mixing a bunch of races that I'm not sure how they would function on their own. Right now, with the 4 factions that you have in both Total War and Total War 2, I'm finding that they function really, really well against each other. You got the High Elves and Dark Elves, that makes sense. You've got the Skaven and the Lizardmen, that makes sense. The fact that these 4 are pitted against each other, that works. Yeah. The original 4 that you got with the first Total War, you had Orcs,
Orcs, Empire, Vampire Counts, and Dwarves.
That's it, Dwarves. Thank you. Again, those seem like a good mixture, a mixed pot right there. So the fact that we're going to throw all these together, plus all the ones that came out with the expansions, it's going to be huge. I'm very curious to see how they all interact with each other. Right now, the special abilities of some of the factions that are in Total War 2, I'm not sure how well those would work against some of the older factions. Like you've got things like the High Elves who can manipulate the alliance between 2 different factions. I'm not sure how that would work for some areas.
Yeah, especially like with AI, it makes sense. But with a player, he can kind of, he's supposed to be able to control. Maybe you can manipulate only AI.
Maybe.
For that specific mechanic.
Maybe. We haven't gotten that far yet. I haven't gotten a chance to make everybody hate him. Working towards it.
No.
Working towards it.
But another one of my concerns about that is whether or not the map will be too big for 2 different factions to be able to fight against each other. Head-to-head, it makes a little bit more sense because you can play as the AI in the AI battle. So it kind of makes sense. You can choose whatever faction. I'm thinking what they might do is, again, with Shogun 2, what they did was, if you were doing a co-op campaign, you had to choose a specific number of, from a select list of factions that were close by each other. So I wonder if that's what they're going to do. So for example, if you choose Empire, you can only choose Bretonnia and Dwarves to be a co-op player in that. And that might be what they were going for with Total War Warhammer 2 alone as a game by itself, which is why we couldn't choose different factions. Like when you, although I mean, when we tried one person trying Skaven, the other person could still only choose one faction. So again, we're not sure if this is something that's pre-released.
It might be something that's pre-released because we haven't got a chance to play around with it yet, but hopefully they do fix it because the co-op's idea sounds amazing. I would love to see that in Warhammer. Anything else that we have to talk about?
I think those are the main points that we want to touch on the co-op aspect. So unless you have anything else to add.
I really have nothing else, guys. I absolutely love this game. I think it's fantastic. If you haven't got a chance to check it out, you definitely should. And get your friends in on it. Start messing with their loyalties. Laugh at them while they declare war against everybody around them by accident. While the people around me are like, "Oh, I don't like you. No, you know what? I can't beat you.
Hold on.
Peace treaty? Peace treaty. They're going to try and fight you now. Oh, they couldn't fight you. Okay, they're going to declare a peace treaty. Now we're going to go to war with each other, and we're just going to leave you alone."
Now, hold on, okay? I remember specifically, especially at the beginning of our game, you were trying to be friends with everyone.
I was.
And then they attacked you?
I was like, "Can we be friends?" No. "Can we be friends?" No.
And then they went to war with you.
"Can we be friends?" "Oh, we're friends now." "Okay, well that's good. Hey, let's make a trade agreement." "Awesome. Now I got some more income coming in." "Oh, the people who said no are going to fight me." And now they're at peace with me and they're fighting each other.
It was crazy.
Lessons were learned, AI. Lessons were learned.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Total War Warhammer 2 is available for pre-purchase on Steam for $71.99. Thank you, Creative Assembly, for the keys once again. And we hope to see you guys in the next video. Happy wargaming, guys. Bye. Fireball.